The Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, is a sprawling mansion with staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open into walls, and endless hallways that twist and turn. It was built by Sarah Winchester, widow of the gun magnate William Wirt Winchester, who believed she was cursed by the spirits of those killed by her family's rifles. Legend has it that she built and rebuilt her house continuously to confuse these vengeful spirits. In the late 1920s, a young servant named Anna came to work at the Winchester Mystery House. She was a skeptic and had no patience for ghost stories, especially the ones the other workers whispered about Mrs. Winchester's ghosts. One evening, Anna was working late, cleaning a sitting room on the second floor. She was lost in thought when she heard footsteps echoing down the hall. Expecting another servant, she looked up and called out, but no one answered. But then she heard it again. Footsteps louder this time, coming closer. She saw nothing, just the dimly lit corridor stretching on, lined with portraits and closed doors. As she turned to go back into the room, she saw a figure at the end of the hall, a woman dressed in Victorian mourning clothes with a dark veil covering her face. Anna's heart skipped a beat. "Mrs. Winchester," she called, her voice shaky. The figure said nothing, but raised a gloved hand, gesturing for Anna to follow. Compelled by curiosity, Anna stepped forward, watching as the woman drifted down a side corridor. The woman led her to a door at the end of a narrow passageway Anna had never noticed before. As she reached out to open it, the door creaked and swung inward on its own, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling downward, disappearing into darkness. Despite the chill creeping up her spine, Anna took a step onto the stairs. Each step felt heavier than the last, the air growing colder and thicker, as though the mansion itself was closing in on her. As she descended, she saw faint, flickering lights at the bottom, like the glow of candles. Finally, she reached a small circular room, lit by only a few dim candles. Strange symbols were carved into the floor, and the walls seemed to be covered with words, names written over and over, some in languages she didn't understand. In the center of the room stood the figure, her veil lifted to reveal a hollow, sorrowful face. But it wasn't Mrs. Winchester, it was an anguished woman, her eyes empty and lost. "Why did you bring me here?" Anna whispered, fear gripping her. The figure's face twisted into a look of pain. She pointed at the walls, and Anna's eyes widened as she recognized one of the names scrawled there. Anna Sinclair, her own name. Heart pounding, she backed away, but the door behind her was gone. She looked around in panic, only to find that the walls were closing in on her, the names starting to bleed as if written in fresh ink. Whispers filled the room, low murmurs that grew louder, voices accusing her, blaming her for things she didn't understand. In a desperate attempt to escape, Anna closed her eyes and ran blindly, feeling the walls pressing against her, trapping her. Just as she thought she would be crushed, she stumbled forward and found herself back in the sitting room where she had started, gasping for breath. The other servants found her the next morning, pale and shaken, her hands covered in soot, her eyes haunted. She tried to tell them about the room with the names, but they only shook their heads. "There's no staircase like that," they said, though they shared uneasy glances, knowing the Winchester house was full of secrets. Anna left the mansion soon after and never returned. But those who work in the Winchester house say that late at night, if you listen closely, you can hear faint footsteps in the halls and whispers coming from hidden rooms. Some claim to have seen Anna's name scratched into the walls in places that couldn't be reached. Another soul drawn into the endless maze of the Winchester Mystery House, forever bound by the curse of restless spirits seeking peace.